他碰触了一位女性的乳房，因而立刻引起连锁的攻击和反击。
I played for 40 minutes last night, and for 99% of the time, I was physically abusing people, for the want of a better word, pushing them around, wrestling them to the ground, touching their private parts. Nobody did anything to stop me, yeah? And it took till about the 38th minute of the performance before somebody finally had the guts to stand up for themselves. And that's really what Condom's all about. It's saying 99% of the population don't stand up for themselves, don't fulfill themselves properly. And 1% maybe do, and that girl is the 1% that we should all be aspiring to, not the 99% that we.
"26 years ago." Has it been that long? 26 years. So, November 17th, 2000. Cold, cold day. My buddy Dennis and I traveled to New York for and I knew at that time, once in a lifetime power electronics show. The amount of the lineup, I don't want to say celebrities, but the the fact that European power electronics bands were coming to the U.S. Big ones that were, notorious ones. Grey Wolves, Condom. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Needless to say, I was excited for this show. Very, very excited. Dennis, on the other hand, now Dennis was always up for an adventure. Dennis was in the Connecticut hardcore band 2x4. No stranger to danger, so to speak. Dennis was the lead singer, and yeah, him and I hit it off really well. He had no idea really, except what I told him about, the noise scene, power electronics scene, what have you. But he was game. He was game. He had been contributing to my old fanzine here, Mental Funeral, with his own take on internet dating, let's say, in the late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, he wrote some wild articles for myself. We had quite a cast of characters on the zine. Get back to Mental Funeral, because he did present, and I'm glad he did, because it's from a perspective of an outsider to the scene. Going to his first noise power electronics show, and what's the name of that? Achtung Amerika. Like I said, back in November 17th of 2000. This was a 2-day event. I didn't go the first night, which was just dark ambient. And if you see me look away, I'm just I have some notes on the couple sites that still have some information about the event. So if I look away, that's what I'm doing. I can't remember everything off the top of my head. The article Dennis wrote helped me, and I do have pictures from the show I took, and I'll give my recollections also of the show and who I hung out with, and Dennis and I adventure outside of the the show too, where we took a little break and dipped out. All the comments. Stay, hang in there, hang in there. We'll get to all that. Yeah, the first night was the well, let's back up. The show was put on by Noise Guild out of New York City, which I'd been to some of their noise nights at the Pyramid in New York. Sasha and Shane. This is around 96, 97. Yeah, two very cool people. They put on this show, Achtung Amerika, along with Jason from Malignant. And it was in New York City, like I stated, on a boat. Yeah, on a boat. I believe this was off the West Side Highway or on the West Side Highway. Yeah, it was a sunken boat that you used to be used to spent numerous days on the bottom of the Chesapeake Bay. And let's see. Let me read the. Spent 3 years. I'm sorry, 3 years at the bottom of the Chesapeake Bay. Its interior is uniquely appropriate to the atmosphere the genre the music tries to convey. Indeed, it was. Had barnacles. It was rusting. We'll get a better description of that from. I'll read off a little bit of Dennis's article he wrote in Mental Funeral, which is this number 2. So that was probably 2000. So this I started in Mental Funeral, I think 97, 98. So anyway, we'll get back now. Okay, so this was a 2-day event. Like I totally forgot. I didn't go the first night, which was dark ambient night, and it had Bloodbox, Novacon, Technologies, VLK, Regard Extreme from France, and La Joie de la Princesse from featuring Regard Extreme from France too. I wasn't too interested in that, even though I do like dark ambient. But let me read the lineup for the Power Electronics night. Inade, Germany. Exorder, which is, the Inade guys, Germany. Control from the US. Casodio from Italy. Grey Wolves, UK. Condom, UK. And then Slogan, featuring Noise Guild, Sasha and Shane that did the noise for them. And guest appearances from John from Death Pile and Mark from Bloody Mind Intrinsic Action. So let's go back a little bit. I was no stranger to majority of all these bands. I already knew, already had releases from, was into them already. For instance, Inade, I already had that CD. I think this is their first CD. Just epic. This is the original CD. I think it's been repressed at this point. This probably came out in 96, 97. I'm not going to look. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. Elder Band was the name of it. So, this was already one of my favorite dark ambient releases. So, Inade, already familiar, already had their stuff, bought that when it came out. So, definitely psyched to see them. Exorder, I never really got into, even though it is considered power electronics, a little bit too rhythmic for me. Anyway, Control, of course, got this, when it came out. This was on Black Plague, which was, offshoot of Jason Malignant. He was, I think at this point he was trying to incorporate. I mean, the label had a lot more dark ambient, death industrial stuff. So to have a power electronics band was yeah, that was very cool that he was branching out and do that. And then different kind of power electronics, which I liked. I haven't listened to this in a long time, but it was kind of more. It was heavy power electronic. I would still category, but there was some rhythm to it. But it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me. I don't want really. I hate to say it, but they're not trying to be dancey. But when I think of rhythm, I think of like dance music, and not gabber. I like gabber. The really extreme gabber. The bloody fist stuff. But Noise Creator. DOA, Delta 9, and then of course already familiar with Condom. I had a release. I had this 7-inch from Self Abuse. And even though I can't find it, I'm fucking pissed. I had the Condom, the Beautiful CD, which I think I got from Pat from Redstream when he put out that box set, which wasn't that with, let me double check on that. Wasn't that with Taint and Smell Like Quim? Yeah. But I can't find the Condom CD, the Beautiful. So already I was familiar with, a lot of some of my favorite stuff, and of course Grey Wolves. And Grey Wolves, gonna play some of that Grey Wolves right now, right? While we're doing this, why not? Victory Through Violence. Remember having that dub. The early stuff I've even then to get was hard and expensive. I had a dub of that, but the big one was Catholic Priest. That was from '96, and that was on Praxis. Dr. Behrman. So, needless to say, I was very, very familiar with all these bands, and these were upper echelon. Really happy that there was Control that was from the U.S. There was a budding U.S. Power electronics scene, but Thomas Control was kind of new on the block then. We still had Taint, we had Death Pile. Slogan was kind of new at that point. So let's get to the show itself. I'm going to go to the page where Dennis had this article. Show off this a little bit. I'm gonna leave you in suspense because ultimately I'm looking for a book publisher to reprint all 6 issues of this fanzine. So if anybody out there that wants to tackle the job of putting out an epic underground zine filled with, extreme music and films and what have you, that run the gambit, music-wise, from underground black metal, death metal, noise, power electronics, horror movie soundtracks. And speaking of movie, there's tons of movie reviews in here, from extreme triple X stuff from the 70s all the way up to some of the latest releases that were around at that point, early 2000s, which probably I would say some Gaspar Noé stuff, maybe some of the new wave extreme French stuff, but this is all cult horror movies, in addition to, like I said, I'll show the article, and I'm absolutely going to show the pictures I took. The pictures in this article are the control and Inade exhorter are mine. I'm not too sure. Might be the Gray Wolves too. That's mine. I can't find the original of that Gray Wolves though. But not too sure where I got the picture of John from Slow Gun and Mike Condom. But anyway, so yeah, this is the article Dennis wrote, and just a few things he describes. Well, let's see. I have to say, he documented this pretty good, and I'll throw in some of my take too. So it was $17 to get in. I mean, that was. Wonder what that would be now. $50. Soon as we got in there, you could tell. Actually, I don't know. No, we didn't look around yet. We went to the bar, so we were in trouble already. They had cheap drinks, and Dennis and I partook already. I don't even think we ate yet, so you could see where this was heading. But we get in there, and like I said, we grabbed a drink, made our way to, I guess, it's a boat, so there's cabins and shit in there. There was you'll see through the pictures too. There was an old piano. It was interesting. Like, there was rust on the walls. There's barnacles. It was warm in there though. I have to say that it was. We weren't freezing. Like I said, it was November, and I remember, and even Dennis in the article said it was cold out. We made it to where the show was. It was kind of in the belly of the boat, so to speak. It's just you kept walking and it opened up, and I think you were able to look. I think that's where I got my pictures. I was able to go upstairs and upstairs, looking down too. So anyway, we get there, and I introduced myself to Jason because I didn't really know what he looked like, because back then it was just mail order. He might have been online. I think he was online, but I saw a guy with all kinds of merch, and it was Malignant. And I said, "Hey, you're Jason." I introduced. He was like, "Oh, cool." He knew who I was. I've ordered from him for a long time, so we were acquainted. And then somehow, I don't know. Somehow I recognized Thomas from Control, so we struck up a conversation, and needless to say, hit it off pretty well. And I've been friends with Tom ever since. Interviewed him for Mental Funeral. I forgot what issue it was. Yeah, we even used to trade, and this shows you how long ago it was. We traded VHS tapes, and we found out we both were big fans of Jamie Gillis and extremities like that. So we had fun grossing each other out with videotapes. Anyway, show starts. Inade's up first. The sound system there was killer, man. They must have rented a really pro system. They were great, and here's a picture of Inade I took. Let me grab it. Hold on one sec. Didn't take a lot of pictures, but the ones I do have, glad to share with you. Now I will show these full screen too. Okay, so here we go with Inade. All right. You know, the they were Sasha and Shane, and I would assume they're the ones that, since they're from New York, the show was in New York. They were the ones that put together where each band had visuals. I think they helped secure that. So there was some interesting stuff to go along with the music. But yeah, overall it's pro done. So let's see, we went through. We talked about Inade. From what I remembered, I thought they were really good. And then X-Order here. X-Order. Not X-Order. Here where you could see, I said I actually was able to get upstairs and take some pictures. I believe, yeah, I'm pretty sure this was the X-Order set, which is the same two guys from Inade. And you could see here in the picture, the wear of the boat. It was a perfect atmosphere. I mean, it was very, industrial. Hate to be cheesy and cliche, but it was definitely perfect setting. The decay, the grime, it was perfect. Here's a better representation of the inner insides of the boat. This was again, I mean, you had to be careful wherever you were walking. You could easily tripped, hit your fucking head on something. Yeah, there was an element of danger in there, but I'm not too sure what part of the boat what this was, but we were exploring. But that right there gives you a good idea of the guts of the boat, the inside. Here's another one of one of the cabins. Yeah, all rusty and, just dingy old. It's hard to believe this was on the bottom of the ocean for 3 years. And pretty genius that they resurfaced it and parked it in in New York. And, I don't know if it was always a club. I don't know if it was something. I don't know if it was a tourist location, but that was the first and only time I've ever gone there. It's, as far as I know, it's still standing or floating. All right, so we talked about. I don't have any picture of Casadillo, but from what I remembered, I did like them. I think they had some technical problems. I know it was. Let's see. I think I'm right. Let me just check this article here. Like I said, guys, I'm not trying to steal. So I'll. This is a great article on the Noise Guild. Their page is still up. But there's 3 or 4 people that gave their overall impressions of that night, and I'm gonna put that in the description too. It's definitely gives you another insight. A lot of these people remember the show more than I did. So let's see, Casadio. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to agree with this impression. You know, like this person himself, I don't know who wrote this. Mm, An individual called Chris Z. Um, yeah, he mentions that he liked the CD, but it wasn't the what they presented. Um, wasn't just wasn't as intense. Yeah, I have to agree. Not that I didn't like it either. Yeah, it was just wasn't as powerful as the CD. So in between with that, I believe. Let's get back to Dennis's article here. Let's see. I think then we now I know Control was coming up. We took a break and ventured out into New York, the streets. Found ourselves at a sports complex because I think we were looking for food. I don't think the event had food, so it was literally like in walking distance. So yeah, we went to the sports complex. They had like rock climbing and all kinds of crazy shit inside. So what do? We find the bowling lanes that were there, and fucking just get pitchers of beer and have like burgers and chicken wings and shit. So yeah, I think we got pretty toasted there. So let's see, Dennis. Yeah, Dennis pretty much said what I explained. Yeah, we finished up, head back, and then at this point, I think we're both kind of hit. So, we get back to the boat, and literally Thomas from Control comes on, which was the set I was really, really anxious to see. And yeah, man, Thomas brought it. This was a killer set. Not only sonically, but visually, Thomas put everybody off with extreme Japanese bondage videos and, some over the top sexual pornographic. Oh, yeah, you could say pornographic um, installments of a young lady with octopus entrails and a handgun. So we'll leave it at that. Yeah, but great set. And everything worked. Vocals too. There was they they were definitely howling, let's say. Yeah, howling vocals. I mean, if you know Control, you know Thomas's vocals. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it was like, listening to the CD. So very good set. And then I think took a little break. I think Dennis and I had split up. We'll get back to his article here, and he was just saying, yeah, we did split up. He decided, because he was wasted, that he was going to go sleep in one of the cabins, and then Grey Wolves comes on, and he says in here that he heard the he kind of wakes up. He was kind of dozing off, wakes up because he hears samples from like a World War II propaganda film. Let's say, that the Grey Wolves were blasting, and he was just like, in the article he states, he's like, "Fuck!" It was like I was in a David Lynch movie. He's just like it was surreal. The I think the atmosphere of it, and of course, the drunken state. You're just like, is this really happening? So Grey Wolves were killer. Mike from Condom did the electronics for the set, and then Dave on vocals. I'm pretty sure that, yeah. Yep. I recognize the tune "Victory Through Violence." It was classic tape from 1990. Other than that, I can't remember. They're just fiercely loud, almost like this is where the power electronics, the night up the ant, the level of brutality which you expect from power electronics was definitely spearheaded, right, with the Grey Wolves. It was brutal. Same with Condom. Mike was a madman, just storming around, and he had like black shoe polish. Let me see. Let me get it right. Yeah, very pissed off. Yeah, black paint. Yeah, okay, I was right. Or ash, smearing all over his body, and he jumps in the crowd, and I think he wipes some on. I think that's right. Let's double check. Just reading off this. Yeah, black shit on somebody's face. A few few audience members, and then he was just screaming, like maddening. Didn't I wish I thought I had actual pictures of Condom, but I don't, or the Grey Wolves. I don't know why. I mean, I took pictures of it, and I don't know. Kind of bothers me to this day. Who knows? Slogan. You know what? Dennis and I called it a night. I didn't watch Slogan. I don't think. According to Dennis, no, we didn't. We had left. I didn't appreciate Slogan back then. I like the stuff more now. Not too sure why. But yeah, I didn't stay for Slogan, but from the accounts here, on the Noise Guild, and plus, here I'm looking at I think the show was over after 3 o'clock in the morning. We still had to drive back to Connecticut, so yeah. If I was gonna bail, unfortunately, it was on Slogan, and I kind of regret it now because I enjoy those old tapes and releases a lot now. I don't know what didn't click for me then. I had Slogan stuff. I don't know. Weird. So there you have it. Not I wasn't gonna make this like I said, this 26 years ago. I barely remembered a lot of it. The article from Dennis helped, and going off of the Noise Guild, but I I never these pictures were shared on my Blogspot, you know, 20 years ago. So I figured, you know what? Let's give them to let's bring them to video. Let's get a new audience to take a look at them. I mean, this show's talked about now, you know, as as a big deal, and of course it was. It was. I knew it back then, you know. So that's about it. I'm really not gonna. Oh! Before we wrap this up, I did secure some goodies from the show itself, and I will show those off now. Some stuff I bought at the show, which I was happy to obtain. Let's get to those now. This is Control. This is a very limited early release live electronics fest. I'm not too sure if I got this from Tom or Jason from Malignant, but yeah, this is kind of a rarity. I don't know how many were made. It was definitely super limited. So this was recorded in 2000 in San Francisco. Happy to have that still. I'm pretty sure I picked this up there. And this is a Control 7-inch in this killer cloth bag. And this is what's this? Praying to Bleed and Lust Killer, 2 tracks. This on the LSD organization. Show that again. Limited to 300. This was number 150. Since this came out around 2000, I'm pretty sure I got it there. Again, I don't know if it was from Thomas or Malignant, but either way, another good one. Yeah, this is, look at this killer. Talk about special packaging, huh? Yeah, these cloth bags were cool. I have a couple of releases like this. Believe it or not, a Death SS for, if anybody's familiar with that cult. Italian heavy metal band. There was a four early 80s, late 70s, 7 inches that was packaged in a cloth bag similar to that. And then this one I picked up. This might have been from the Condom, from Mike himself from Condom. They had put in the Get Right with God on vinyl. You know, this was originally on Broken Flag in, 87. So this was a cassette. So very, very happy to have this still. Just a black vinyl. God, I haven't listened to this in a long time. I should go back and check this out. So yeah, there you have it. Definitely a highlight. Probably, no, not probably. It was the first real power electronics show I had seen. So I'll forever, remember that. And that's about it. I think I'll bring it to an end. When I let me end. Yeah, I'll end this video, and then at the end, I will show. I'll make sure I show off these pictures full size. I'll upload them and then show them off. There's one you know what? I do have that way going. This is way in the prior. I was talking. I mentioned that piano in the boat. That's one I didn't show off here, but I will, and then the slides coming. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Let me know. Who attended? Anybody reading this attended it? What's your memories? There was supposed to be another one, but never happened. I don't know what happened to Sasha and Shane and the Noise Guild. I don't know if they're in New York, and they brought a lot of cool shows to New York around that time period. But yeah, who knows? Maybe somebody could inform us about their whereabouts now. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.